Democratic presidential hopeful Andrew Yang on Friday pushed back against critics who argue that the Democrats are in favor of open borders, calling it a mischaracterization of their positions. I think it's mischaracterizing the position of just about every Democrat to say that someone is open borders. Yang said in an interview with The Hill, "I know I am very cognizant of the fact that we need to have more resources in place to secure our borders and enforce our rules as they're written," he continued. "The open borders attack, to me, is simply a mischaracterization, certainly of the point of view of most Democrats I've heard them express." Yang was responding to comments made by former Homeland Security Secretary Jed Johnson last month, decriminalizing, blah, 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 blah. He said some stupid stuff. But Yang, once again, is like reading into my soul. Let me tell you something, I am somewhat familiar with the positions of most of these top Democrats, the ones running for president, the ones that are in positions of leadership in the House and Senate. And not a single one ever, under any circumstance, has said, "I want to have open borders." None whatsoever. The closest, and really the one they probably are screwing with the most, is Castro, who is another worthless neoliberal. But the one position he has, which is good, is decriminalizing it so that the separations can no longer be, basically making it to where when it's not a crime, they can't separate parents from children the same way that they could someone who was born here that commits a crime, like a murder or a robbery. So it's really less so about not acknowledging it as a bad thing, but more so in relation to the amending it to where the most controversial aspect of U.S. immigration policy is not, in place anymore. But see, that's one of those things where when you actually let someone come on and explain their position and don't lie on them, they can say it. And that's why I was saying that it's so frustrating. And he has some other comments here that I can probably get to tomorrow in the live stream at 6 p.m. Standard Pacific Time. Not Standard Pacific Time, but Pacific Time, where he talks about the reality show of Trump, and it's like, this is his signature issue, referring to Trump, and it's been pushed and propagated so much that one of the appeals of Yang was that he talked about economic stuff, and that was just completely been ignored. I'd say probably before Trump got in office, but certainly in his tenure as well, where really the only thing they talk about are just stuff at the top. Like, you've heard a little bit about interest rates and the tax bill, but other than that, it's just the economy is so great, lowest unemployment, blah 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 blah. They don't discuss increasing wages or anything having to do with the common man, and that's something that Yang's really been pushing at. So I'm glad to see him state that this is a mischaracterization, because it is. He will continue to have my support.